Good morning, good morning, good morning. Sorry you had to see me scratching my head like that. You know what it is, the Cat President, Fly Guy, your Chief Architect, Michelangelo, StarTex.com, here to help you redesign your frame of mind when it comes to this lifestyle thing. And today is Taylor Thought Tuesday. So if you haven't been rocking with me, if you're just first time here, welcome. You know that you're appreciated. And while you're here, make sure that you shout me out or shout yourself out, and let me know where you are hitting me from. And if you have any questions or concerns, thoughts, or topics that you want to talk about, that you let them be known here, right? This is a conversation. This is not a dissertation or a lecture, but I do got a sermon if you guys aren't talking. So please make sure that you bring up your thoughts and your perspectives. Those are very very much appreciated. Handicap Visions, what's going on, baby? How you feeling? I hope you're looking as good as you feel. And if you're not feeling good, that you looking better than you feel, so that you can get back up to them good feelings. You dig what I'm saying? So if you find the information beneficial, first and foremost, give me a thumbs up. It's always appreciated. That helps the channel to grow, and it helps us get this video out to more people, so that we can have more conversations. And today we're going to be talking on Taylor Thought Tuesday. Oh, I do apologize. Yesterday, listen, this daily grind of putting out videos is a little overwhelming every now and then. And if you get caught up doing something else, then that can throw some things off. That's no excuse. I'm uh, intentionally working on scheduling so that I can batch videos and have the pre-produced videos already ready for you guys. It's easier to do lives because it's impromptu. I don't have to edit, add background music, or any of those different types of things. There's no excuse. Videos will be up, and we'll make sure that we take care of them. Mr. Connecticut, what's going on, sir? Um, so you're a nurse, and you were just talking about whether you could wear a button-up shirt over your turtleneck. Yeah, you can. I mean, I do. So the shirt that you saw me wearing yesterday, the button-down collar shirt, has a higher collar. Now, that's one thing that I would tell you, fam, is if you're gonna wear a turtleneck with a button down, make sure that the shirt is robust enough, and that the collar is big enough to handle that to handle that amount of length, right? You want to have balance of width versus the length. So like that's why a lot of guys will wear flannel shirts. I wouldn't wear a dress shirt with the turtleneck. It'll look off. But if you have a nice button down flannel shirt, that'd be nice. If you did a nice tattersall, that'd be nice. Even a nice gingham, as long as the gingham is more of a winter type of flannel, probably a flannel again, but more maybe like even a broadcloth. You could wear that. That would be nice. But just make sure that the balance is going to be there. Because if you have a low, um, like even this collar for me is actually kind of too low. I'm gonna have this shirt remade where that collar is coming up here and then dropping. Um, so if I was to wear a turtleneck with this shirt, which I wouldn't, but if I would want to make sure that the collar was a little bit higher, so that there's balance of the top of the neck, and then maybe like the midpoint of the neck where the shirt is going to be open. You can still have that balance. Otherwise, it just looks off to me. That's just me personally. Um, so yeah, so today I wanted to talk to you guys about. No problem, man. That's what we're here for. I love having a conversation. If you have any other questions, you can ask me. Um, but I want to talk about the. Sorry, my head is itching today. I don't know what's going on with my head. Um, but I wanted to talk to you guys about tying the integrity of your image, or tying your image to the impact that you're gonna have on people. And if you guys know, guys watching the replay, or for my audience live today, you know that I believe that every man has a story. That story soon becomes history, or his story, and it all begins with a statement in style, right? But we were on Instagram live talking about the development of your character, a character development, and a lot of guys don't realize how important it is for you to maintain a level of integrity when it comes to your image. Now, we're taught about integrity when it comes to our word and when it comes to, uh, being a man of our word and following up and doing things of that nature. But we forget that a picture is worth 1,000 words. You heard me say that before. And so if a picture is worth 1,000 words, then we want to make sure that there's integrity behind those words. We want to make sure that we are speaking life and speaking honor and integrity and honesty and truth and trust in those or those unspoken words. And so when we talked about the communication of clothing, in other conversations, which we're actually going to do a pre-produced video about that, um, communication, it's important to understand, is a it's a dialogue. It's somebody, me encoding information, sending it out to the person that I am communicating with. That person then having to decode the language in their own tone, in their own voice, and then give me back the understanding. Right? That's communication in its entirety. And so I'm reading Tanner Guzy's book. Tanner, damn it, I forget what his books, the name of his book is. It's an interesting book though. And I'm probably gonna do a review on Tanner's book. But one of the things that he's talked about is that communication, right? We as evolutionary creatures are taught to assess certain things. So if we saw four guys, don't take color out of the situation, right? You see four guys in leather jackets and Harley Davidson type leather jackets, with hats that are pulled over their eyes, whatever the hat is, and some ripped up jeans and some boots with smoke bellowing from the area, and it's a dark night. You're going to make an assessment. You're going to make a quick evaluation. Now, for some of you guys, depending on where you grew up, it may not mean nothing to you. You're going to keep it moving and you're going to walk straight through that group. For some of you guys, depending on where you moved and where you lived and how you grew up, you may cross the street. For some of you guys, you may keep your head on a swivel and move to the left or to the right because you're making an assessment. You're not completely aloof of the situation and the environment that you're in, but you're making that assessment based on those characteristics and the characters that you're seeing. Well, in that same way, you want to make sure that you're being very intentional and aware of the spaces. Yesterday we were talking about the spaces that you were putting yourself in, but also being and maintaining a certain level of integrity with who you are and what you want to represent. Now, how do we do that? Of course, we're always going to talk about the consciousness, the construction, the communication of your character. So if we're talking about the consciousness of who you are, it's vitally important for you to maintain a certain level of integrity in you thinking about yourself and being aware of yourself. One of the things that my clients and I do is we do personality tests when we first meet. So we go through and we do a questionnaire that helps you determine Myers-Briggs. We do a Myers-Briggs test. We do a fascination test. And then we do one other personality test that actually gives me some insight into a full understanding of who you are. Now, if you guys haven't, I always recommend taking a Myers-Briggs test just to understanding your personality archetype, because it will give you insight into how you think and how you process information. Now, once you understand these things, because these are your truths, these are the questions that you answer that have helped formulate something, you can either choose to align yourself with that or you can rebel against that. If you do choose to do the latter, that's on you. It's going to be a difficult thing because you're going to keep on finding that you're showing up in different types of spaces. But once you have that, and if should you choose to accept it, you can begin constructing your expression and how you move around those things. Now, I'm a person who enjoys people, and I love like these interactions. I love being able to have conversations. But the problem that I often was running into is I was putting myself in the wrong environments. I was finding myself in the wrong settings that were not going to align themselves or tie themselves to the things that were going to be beneficial to me. What do I mean? Well, my love-hate relationship with the club. I couldn't have a conversation in the club with a beautiful young lady. because it was too loud in there. I couldn't really have, a healthy debate with, some cool, well-spoken gentlemen where I could learn and they could learn, as we built together. It's too loud in there, and we're all competing on a very different plane. And I'm never gonna win in that competition simply because I know better, right? I know how much drinks cost. So I'm not gonna go buy a bottle for $300 when I know I can go to the liquor store and get it for 30. Like that's ridiculous to me. But what I did realize was like I love festivals. Like I love festivals because I can people watch and I can eat and I can experience something and I may meet somebody and we'll have a dope ass conversation. I love like gatherings. I love going to. We have a wonderful museum here called the High Museum of Art, and I love going to First Fridays. I haven't been in a long time, but I love going to those things because it's great music and food and wine, and I can tour the art gallery and see all these different artists, but I can also see all these different people, and I can ask them what they think about the exhibit and why they think those things, and it creates conversation. So it's important for you also to tie yourself to the environments and to the people and the co-characters in your life that are going to help you explore and develop more of your character, but also who will reinforce those elements that you discovered when you were finding the integrity behind your image. And then, lastly, when it comes to communication, it is vitally important that you maintain a certain level of integrity when it comes to communicating who you are. And that doesn't just mean being honest and being fair and all those other wonderful characteristics. That's true. But before you ever open your mouth, there should be a correlation when you start speaking to how you dress, right? When people talk to me, they see me and they say, oh, okay, cool. That once I start talking, that makes sense. You know, he is an impassioned guy. He's a colorful dude. Um, and when I say like I want people to feel me, that makes sense. You see visual cues that create a feeling, right? You see um, textual, right? All these things create feeling that either elicit touch or that will create a space for sensual and engagement. And so all these things you want to think about when you are positioning yourself and positioning your style to tie it to who you are, where you're going, what you're doing, and what you want to say before you ever open your mouth. If you can do those things, then you're going to put yourself in a much better position to be more attractive, right? Ladies will appreciate you. Ladies will look for you because you're that dude who always seems to have his ish together. Jobs and people around you will want and the people around you will want to deal with you because there's something authentic about what you're doing and how you're doing it. And lastly, you'll find that your communication is that much more impactful because people no longer have to fight visually and mentally with you saying something and then your image fighting or battling against that, which actually can happen in a lot of ways. So I want you to try that on, see how it fits you. Today we are going to be talking about some other ways to tie your tie. So I'm going to give you 5 other ways, I believe, 5 or 6 other ways for you to tie your tie. That four in hand, of course, is the easiest one. It's the go-to one. We're going to talk about the half Windsor, the full Windsor, and some other ones. I have them written down. I don't really even use those ties knots that much, but they're still good to know. And so I want to make sure that we cover those, and then for you to understand what each one of those actually symbolizes and represents. So that's going to be dope. Outside of that, please, by all means, keep on leaving me comments about what you want to talk about, what you want to hear about, so I can make sure I do some research on those. And I got to apologize to you guys again for Sunday. That joint is kicking my ass. Like, the story of, I'm going to get it, though. We're going to get it. So we're going to do Ralph Lauren starting out. It's going to be a 4-part series, and I think that's what I'm going to start doing for the month. I've been listening to this wonderful podcast. I want to make sure that I show them love because they're kind of who's inspired me, called Business Wars. So the first one that they did, it was a 8 to 10 part series on Netflix versus Blockbuster. And this one now that they're doing is Nike versus Adidas. Man, that's some informative type of stuff. Like, it's amazing. So Business Wars, if you listen to podcasts, is something that you should definitely check out. Outside of that, I'm about to get up out of here so I can start these recordings and get these done for you. Again, if you have any other questions or you do need any consultations or want to know about anything like that, by all means, feel free to hit me up via comments, or you can email me directly at info@stylearchitects.com. I'll be more than happy to go over some things with you. And outside of that, be great. You know. Oh man, I appreciate the handicap visions in due time, bruh. In due time, brother, it'll happen. Um, but thank you for that. Like, cause sometimes I get inside my mind. I'm gonna go back to this comment. Um, but yeah, outside of that, be great. You know. Then again, you are great, and I don't mind telling you over and over and over again. You guys are great. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I'm thankful for you guys, and it's gonna be a beautiful thing. So I want you to show up, show out in style, and don't ever forget that dress is nothing more than the expression of a man's state of mind. So you, yes you, should always dress to express. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.